Welcome, everyone. We're here for another team stream. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of updates, and I want to kick it off with Keith, who's going to tell us all about, the excitement behind our mobile app, what the app does, and why it matters. Really happy to get the band back together tonight. We're looking forward to diving deep into the Qualoo Mobile App. Keith, take it away.
Yep. And I think that for those of you who have signed up to our waitlist, you'll have got a new blog article through your email outlining exactly what the app does and why it's important. The first version of the app is our kind of starting point. It helps us to grow the network, which we want to build every country of the world, every provider of the world. And, that network is built by regular, everyday internet users just like us, and it's very important that the users run the app, open the app, and when those tests are performed by the app, some will run in the foreground by running the global test, some will run in the background. And what that's basically doing is that's providing all of the information we need to be able to basically audit your telecom provider, audit the quality of internet from your location, just like we've done for, the last 20 years working with internet providers, governments, regulators, when we help them to solve all of their problems, So we're doing that on a much bigger scale now. That's the reason why we built this deep in network, because we got tired working with one provider and another, and they've all got the same basic problems. We want to make a difference to the entire planet. That means holding everybody to a higher standard, the Qualoo standard. And every time you run those apps and the global tests, we're getting all of the information that we need to see what problems exist. Is your internet good enough? Can you run all of those, popular services, video streaming and e-commerce and social media and things like that? And when you can't, that really impacts your lives. And the way the world is changing, it's going to impact your lives more and more if you don't have good quality internet. So, as we say, help us help you by running those tests. We're going to be creating this new standard, holding every provider accountable, making sure everybody everywhere gets the best quality internet possible.
Nice. And like, although it's on Google Play, you're still seeing so much organic growth, and even like kind of being led by those OGs, those original guardians of the community. But maybe talk us through a little bit of like the organic growth that you're seeing, pop up.
Yeah. I mean, we had quite a big wait list. People who've been patiently kind of following us as we started building the app and getting it ready for the first kind of users and things like that. So we wanted to give them access first. So we've got it out on Android first. Android is a little bit a few less complexities on Android to iPhone, so it was a natural to get Android out the door first. But yeah, I mean the waitlist users and the referrals in app, word of mouth, people understanding that this is a solution that's going to be able to help make a real difference in the world, and they actually can believe in the project, get behind it. It's probably something that's unified everyone on the planet. We've all at some point been frustrated by not being on the internet, or we're doing something important, it drops out, can't get connected, it ruins your life, but for some people that's their everyday existence, and not a lot of people think about it, but us as consultants who've worked in the thick of it over the last 10 years, we see just how unstable the internet is, and the fact that we're putting all of our lives onto the internet, and in many instances there's no option, and that's going to change. So if the internet's not working, you can't order food, you can't pay your bills, you can't do your work. It's only going to get more and more impactful. So we have to make sure that it works for everyone.
Nice.
Yes. So
David,
the marketing is a big part of that. So yeah.
and you see that with the community, with the buzz, right? Like you see that also with the referral program within the app itself, and that's really neat. And also, like, I've been referring friends and family, and what I like about it also is that you're just walking people through it. Like I've walked through relatives that are new to crypto,
Yeah.
very excited.
The other thing is, just through those referrals and the soft launch, like the few we've already got data coming in from over 125 countries,
Yeah.
and that's growing up every day. And I mean, the other side of this, which is like what Davey's going to talk about, is how we actually make this data turn into insights that everybody can interpret and deal with. And that's where we see as AI fitting a big piece of that puzzle, being able to address the technical skill gap. And Davey's been leading the way on that. So take it away,
Nice.
Davey.
Yeah, cool. I'd have to say like it's been really exciting since the launch, just because everybody's worked so hard to get this thing up, and our community included. And now we have this really big data aggregate, and we're starting to see things that have been theorized in some ways, and now we're seeing things that are even cooler than we thought. Obviously, Keith's been remapping a lot of data and making custom reports, different scenario based things per location provider. And it's been really neat to start to throw some other technologies at that stat. So what's really cool for Qualoo and AI at the moment that would seem not as exciting is actually that user sentiment data. I to be honest, know that I've never filled out a form to tell my service provider, my ISP, my mobile provider, really anything about my experience. Yet the stats on our app are that almost all of our users are filling out forms, and it's good data. It's really helping. So when you aggregate that and run different calculations, different data science tools against it, we're actually going to get insights that really don't exist anywhere else. And so a lot of people are throwing what's called agentification, or building agent models that deliver a lot of different services. And in Web3, a lot of that stuff seems to be for marketing automations and things like that. But at Qualoo, we have an actual specific focused data science mission. So we get to use AI as it was intended. And I think that's very, very exciting. At the moment, most of our focus has been on how to bring it securely into our infrastructure. Again, we're not really looking to farm out the infrastructure for the model, the processing, anything, simply because our data stack is provider data, user data, and the analytics of that are our IP to what we deliver as a service. So it's kind of exciting for us because we get to touch everything under the hood, from the model training, embeddings, agent design and delivery, and the way that they're tooled. So it should be really cool to start to test and work with our community a bit. It could be called the near future, and get some test groups together and play around a little bit. So that's what's kind of going on thus far. Yeah.
Nice. Super exciting. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the community is all the rage when it comes to keeping up with current trends in meta and hype, and we see AI agents really taking over. But I think what's cool about what Qualoo's doing, and what the community already knows Qualoo's doing, is that like they're not only building in public, but they're listening to like what the people have to say, and that's where like the feedback mechanism comes in on the app. That's where the community voice and ownership comes through. And yeah, I mean, people talk about AI, but I think we can see a difference between like what really good uses and use cases of AI agents are compared to like a glorified chatbot, right? And that kind of stuff is like some people are just throwing it on there, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but some people are just throwing it onto their project, like because it's a trend, right? Right.
Yeah, I just think that we have like a product that's extremely technical, very serious, and it's a global problem. So we'll be providing reports and solutions to giant companies, governments, regulators, and our use of AI has to be protected first and foremost. We have to be able to show our stakeholders that we have a plan for how we're going to segment user data, how we're going to protect what is considered IP data. That's important, that we're separating what's delivered to our public to help them, which is a big part of our mission, but more importantly, to protect the very advanced analytics that are delivered in these dashboards, alerts, and alarms to providers that will eventually actually enable them, to optimize the internet better for everyone, kind of our main mission,
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really crazy just how much of a difference this is going to make, because the other thing that Qualoo has is the Qualoo Deepin network that's given us this literal gold mine of insights that is going to be like crack to internet providers that just won't be able to get enough of it. Not only are we going to save them tens of millions of dollars, we actually remove a huge burden for them. And then obviously the people all around the world who just want better internet but not technical focused, to be able to bring all of our experience that we've learned over the last 20, 30 years working in telecoms to build that model. So you've basically got a super consultant with super data all over the world in real time in your pocket. And that's the true kind of transformation thing that AI is going to bring. And that's another way that is built on the chatbots. We now have different ways to interact with the AI. But if you can just ask a provider, I'm going to a conference in this area, which hotel's got the best internet, or which provider is best for me. I always play games and all this kind of stuff. And it will be able to look at that whole data set and tell you for your specific use case, your specific location, because too many times you see these global data sets, like, you've probably seen these broadband leads tables, like, speed test that put out, for example, that boils down the whole country to one number. That doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? So only matters to you, like where you live and where you go, so being able to use AI and our data to give that, hyper localized data sets is going to be really important for bringing value to everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exciting times ahead for that. And the community's already pretty active. You can continue to get more active in it. There's currently 3 campaigns going on. There's 2 on Galaxy and 1 on X. I'm really excited about the one on X because it just opens up a whole new can of worms for what kind of contest we can do and how we can get people to show where they're connecting from. So the My Internet campaign on X is pretty cool. Whoever came up with it, I think it's you, Keith. It was really sweet that it's like, check in where you are right now. I've been in places where I've checked in. It's great buildings, nice view, terrible Wi-Fi, right? And they're often misleading because you're paying you don't know what you're paying for. You're not paying for Wi-Fi when you check in on these kind of things. And that's been interesting. It's been interesting to see where other people within our community around the world have been checking in and taking screenshots or a picture of where they're checking in from, tagging it with the My Internet hashtag, and that campaign on X is super cool to see. Not to mention the campaigns on Galaxies, which go hand in hand with like just the app itself. We talked earlier about referral, right, within the app. Who wants to talk about that a little bit, about the referral within the app itself?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on that My Internet. I mean, what's really cool is you see people from all walks of life, all over the world, all using the one internet, and that's one of the big kind of primary points behind why we built the Qualoo network, is like the actual internet isn't owned by anybody. And so a lot of these problems just get forgotten about, especially when issues impact more than one provider, more than one country, kind of in no man's land, but who's going to look after it? And, even regulators, they can't step up and enforce things out of their jurisdictions. So that was the big idea, is like, this one internet, it belongs to the people, it belongs to all of us, right? And Qualoo is a way that everybody can step up to be, we always said, be the guardians of the internet, because you are, because when you run that app, you provide that data, you do that provides that data set to a global network that builds up the knowledge that we don't need permission to get, we don't need to install equipment in providers' networks, but we actually build this picture up all over the world. So it's very important. And also, seeing those pictures of just how people collect and, doing different things, some at work, some having fun, from every different walk of life, it really brings that home, that the internet belongs to all of us and we have to protect it. And that's Qualoo's mission. And, so the My Internet campaign is a great way to visualize that.
I agree. It really brings people together. I think gives everyone a voice. It shines some light, some much needed light on something too. And I think it gives people a place to be heard. And I love it. I think that's the beauty of these campaigns. So yeah, they're on our websites. They're on our X's, LinkedIn's. Go to our socials, check it out. But it's cool.
And download the app and check in. And I mean, that's the other thing with the referral program. While we're in this kind of transition, soft launch, we've just been making sure all of the systems are working and everything's working. We want to reward our users, not just for running the app, but also for referring their friends, supporting the network, growing the network. So the more tests you run, the more people you refer, the stronger Qualoo Networks gets, the more value we can abstract from it and share it with our users. So definitely keep referring your friends, running those tests, especially if you notice the internet's got a problem or during the busy hours and quiet time. There's never a bad time to run a Qualoo test, as they say.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of that, speaking of tests and speaking of the Qualoo app, I know Eduardo's been cooking in the background and been really deep in supporting everyone, the feedback and just the iterations of the app itself. Qualoo, it's like just amazing work with the team. Wondering if Eduardo, you want to tell us a little bit more about the app and just give us your perspective from a developer side.
Well, I think you guys have said everything, so there's no.
All right, nice one.
So
No, you have something.
I guess we'll start from the first things you guys were saying. So the Qualoo app is still on soft launch mode, so it's not available for everyone. And even though it's on Google Play, it's only accessible via a special link, and it's only in a certain way. So basically, if you want to download the app, get a friend to refer you with, or go to qualoo.io/download. Basically, we've worked very much on rewarding, as Keith was saying, our community, people supporting us, people who've been on the wait list for a while. So that's why we wanted them to have access first. And because everyone who refers a friend or refers someone to come into the Qualoo family, they get rewarded. So by using the app, clicking on a friend, they're getting rewarded. So we wanted to give everyone in the community that's been using the app this far, give them preferential opportunities to earn more points, to be the first ones out there, guardians of the internet. So now we've expanded the way of referring. So we have now 2 ways of referring on the last version of the app that's going to be available in the next few days. So this is last news, hot out of the oven. So basically, you still have your friends at the bottom, and there's a big plus there. Clearly, you add plus is you're adding a friend. When you do it this way, it's a one-to-one only. So that friend, that link is just for the one person, one use, and that person will be linked to you. So you'll see their picture at the bottom. If they put a picture up, and you'll see their name, and that gives you more points. This is the way in which the person sending it to their friend gets 500 points, and the friend creating a new account with that referral code will get 200 points. So this is the best way and the way to get the most out of the referral way. And then with just the one that's new is generic referral. So a lot of people have social media accounts and things, and they want to spread the word as fast as possible, and doing it on a one-to-one is not as convenient. So we have, when you go to your profile, in there there's a link, generic referral link. This gives the person referring less points. It gives them 50 points, but of course if they put it on a link or on the social media or whatever, they're gonna get coming in. Everybody wants to meet, and the person using that referral code will get 100 rather than 200 points for being accessed. Of course, there's more value to your friend sending you the referral code and being linked in the app to your friend than someone sending a more generic referral code. So that's one of the hot things coming up. We're also going to have languages. That's also coming up very soon. Because we're getting so many users, as Keith was saying, over 125 countries. It's insane.
Wow.
We're looking at the countries. Some countries we didn't even know they existed. I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, like Spain. I know, like Spain. Crazy.
Yeah. What country is that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really exciting. It's really wonderful to see how the app is growing, and very soon iOS app will also be available. For now, very important that if you want to be one of the early users of the iOS app, go again to the same link, qualoo.io/download. And in there, if you have an Android phone, you'll be able to go to the download of the Android. But if you have iOS, you have a specific wait list for iOS. And there you can also tick if you're interested on the notes, which will also be coming up very soon. So lots of exciting things coming up.
Nice, super exciting, yeah. Especially exciting that um, so many of you are going to get together in real life. I imagine. I think I heard through the grapevine that a lot of people are meeting soon in Spain, and maybe Phil can shed some light on perhaps what's happening from the telecom side or from this kind of like in real life meetup.
Yeah, Phil can tell you about the biggest telecom event in the world, which is
Yeah.
Mobile World Congress, biggest telecom event in the year in the world.
Yeah.
Over 100,000 usually attend. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty.
Nearly
And we'll
special
join you.
functions bribe the organisation to be based there. Mobile
Yeah.
World Congress is running in first week in March, and Keith, Eduardo, myself, and Stephen on the telco side will be there. And I think what that does is give me the opportunity to talk about why the world needs Qualoo, and why you as individuals need to use the apps, because the internet's designed to work. It's designed to send a packet from one end to the other and it gets through. What we can see is we can get 10% loss of packets. Now, every time packets are lost, they've got to be resent, and that reduces the effective and efficiency of the whole internet. Keith's an expert on jitter and latency and all these things. If you're watching this video, you will find it pixelating on your screen at some point due to some technical issue that could have been addressed, yet these companies are not addressing them. And that's really where this whole proposition comes together, why I'm sitting here, because I go back to before Web -1. It didn't exist. The internet was just something in the future. But I've been through a data wave where 2 meg downloads were great, and now people have got gigabit access, and this whole thing, every time we think networks are being dimensioned to work, something comes along to increase the demand, to increase the bandwidth, and if we get it right now, it'll suffer again in 5 years' time, because there's always some new application that's bandwidth hungry and needs data. So
We know you cut out 3 times. Yeah, we know that. Yeah,
really. And I've got the best video. I'm on gigabit access as well, so
That was not by
could be
design.
anywhere. And Keith knows. Yeah, Keith knows. If you go into the data now, it will tell him exactly where it failed.
Nice one.
So that's why we're heading to Barcelona, and hopefully a lot of telcos stop by and listen to us, because we've got a lot to tell them about.
Yeah, because we have a booth. Let's not forget. It's not just that we're going to visit, like many of us have been going every year. This time we have a booth, a special booth in Hall 8.0, booth 20.8 to be precise. And the 4 of us are going to be there. Hopefully we'll see many of you there in person, and we'll be able to tell you about Qualoo, and you'll be able to show you special insights as to why it's so important that you're actually using the app, turning it on every day, doing a few tests, moving around. By the way, we're doing some special rewards for mapping, moving and mapping. So I don't want to let any of that out, but everything that you've been doing so far will be counting towards that.
Nice.
So yes, all this data is super important, and in there you'll be able to see what insights, what actually comes out of that magic that the app is generating. So it's going to be
very cool. Very cool, exciting, and all the best to all you guys that are going to Barcelona and going to meet up. And shout out to Lawrence, who's also representing Qualoo right now at Consensus in Hong Kong. We're really global and really just well like tuned at really focusing on community. So shout out to everyone he's meeting in the Southeast Asian community as well. Europe sounds like it's going to be exciting soon. Keith, any last words, or anybody else want to say anything else before we bring it home?
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to touch on the Mobile World Congress and why it's important, because, you always hear with Deepin about the supply side, which is people running nodes and providing data, which, a lot of people think is quite easy, because you're always going to get people who want to get tokens and points and stuff. But what's really hard is the demand side, and that's what we're talking about, is like Qualoo data and insights methodology is in huge demand, because we've been doing this on consultancy projects that used to take a lot of effort because you used to have to do drive tests, you used to have to ship equipment, you used to have to get permissions, interoperability. That all of that headache's been replaced by the Qualoo Deepin network, but the same value is there. So this enables us to get that to serve 10,000 providers rather than just one or two. So that's really what we want to see, is like the Qualoo network is the single source of truth that all the stakeholders can use, and that really drives the change. And through the kind of the attention that the Qualoo network puts on these issues, being able to detect issues and where they're coming from in minutes rather than years is really transformative. And that's where we're going. And we kind of say is like the internet experience is about to have its ChatGPT moment, because just how revolutionary ChatGPT was for AI and chatbots and stuff. We're really talking about building a network that can spot instantly when there's issues, hold you accountable, let all the stakeholders know, and really drag the internet up. And we're going to be kind of the guardians themselves, forcing the change. And that's why we're really excited about getting out to the world and showing this, because we know how effective this data is. We knew there's so many red flags around the quality and state of internet, and that's why all of us went all in to work full time on building Qualoo Network and building this vision. So it is a really exciting time, and it was exciting after the launch and seeing the new countries and the new users going off, and it's going to be exciting as well when we onboard more and more providers, users, and consumers using the Qualoo Network and actually seeing the change. Our data is going to actually show the before and after, right? It's going to be like one of those epic weight loss videos where someone's lost 400 pounds going to the gym every day. Like we'd be able to show whole countries' internet. So look at this mess and look at how good it is now.
Bad connections are going to get thinner. That's right. Bad connections.
Exactly. So we're really excited for the next chapter where we start getting revenues and changing the world.
That's great. It is exciting just to hear everyone's updates. Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, and shout out to everyone in the community. Let us know what you might want to hear next time, so that when we come and do the next one of these, we will have some stuff to build off of and hear you out. All right. That's it for now. Good night, everyone.